Hello, and welcome to episode 39 of Desert Fathers with Bishop Erik Varden. I'm Jamie Baxter from Exodus 90, and I'm honored to walk alongside you during this adventure into the desert. Throughout this month, we've been exploring Bishop Varden's exhortations on the 8th chapter of this systematic collection of the sayings of the Desert Fathers on not showing off. Throughout this month, we've been given powerful sayings, spoken with authority and from experience by our fathers in the desert. Abba Antony's saying about the gifted young monk who can somehow see at distances beyond human sight and then commands animals with ease reminds us that we too, no matter our abilities, can squander our graces if we seek the credit. Abba Theodore shows us that our attempts to be exalted are plainly silly when viewed objectively from the outside, like asking our baker to grind custom chickpeas instead of receiving our daily bread. And Abba Serapian's correction of the empty words of his visitor reminds us to speak from within our experience, so that our words do not lose authority, like the scribes we so often are. As we begin our final week on this challenging chapter, which stands in such contrast with the wisdom of our time, Abba Moses goes still further to contradict those who would make of him an ancient influencer. With that, I'll hand it over to Bishop Varden. This is episode 39 of Desert Fathers, a low profile.
A government official heard about Abba Moses and went off to Scetis to see him. Some people announced to the elder what was happening. He got up and fled into the marshes. The official ran into him there and said, "Tell us, old man, where is the cell of Abba Moses?" He said to them, "What do you want from him? He is a simpleton and a heretic." The official went to the church and said to the clergy, "Having heard a lot about Abba Moses, I came to see him. Then we encountered an elder who was on his way to Egypt, and we said to him, 'Where is the cell of Abba Moses?' And he told us, 'What do you want from him? He is a simpleton and a heretic.'" Hearing this, the clergy were saddened. They said to the official, "What sort of fellow was it that spoke in this way about the holy man?" The visitors answered, "He was a big, black man, wearing ancient clothes." The clergy said, "Ah, that was Abba Moses. He said these things about himself because he did not want to meet you." Then the official retired, greatly edified. The fathers were allergic to devout trophy hunters. They would go to great lengths to avoid them in order to prevent the emergence of personality cults. We have already encountered Abba Moses. We know he was shrewd. Here we find him playing something of a practical joke on a highly placed official keen to see him. Moses must have known that this man's intention was superficial and motivated by vanity. Had the official been someone in trouble, he would not have run away. The fathers never shunned those who came in need of help, counsel, or charity. Moses does not deny being himself. He evaluates his public persona. We may ask, that's all very well, but should he have referred to himself as a heretic? We know how concerned the fathers were to keep right faith. Remember, though, that the Greek word can also sustain the more general sense of factitious or causing divisions. Moses runs himself down to prevent the emergence of a holy man myth. So important was this aspect of humility to the early monks that they sometimes staged such little skits to make their point. Abba Simon was another one who laboured to keep out of the public eye. Two sayings present him in a predicament rather like that of Abba Moses, having to confront the sudden appearance of a curious official, eager, as local politicians always are, to find people and places of distinction who might enhance their region's fame. On one occasion, hearing that the distinguished guest was near, Simon climbed into a palm tree and started cleaning its leaves, cutting quite the figure of the village idiot. When the official shouted up to him, "Old man, where is the hermit?" Simon called back, "No hermit here," which in the circumstances was true. Another time when Simon was told, "Get ready, for the governor has heard of you and is on his way to ask your blessing," he promptly installed himself in front of his hermitage with a nice spread of bread and cheese. The governor arrived. Finding the elder tucking into a hearty meal in full view of all, he was disappointed. He had expected to find Simon fasting and at prayer. He and his entourage turned around and went away. The strategy had worked. Simon would rather be disdained as decadent than idealized. The attitude encountered in these sayings may seem to us brash. In fact, it shows us the face of humility interiorized. These monks are not going around advertising their lowliness. They're simply concerned that people should not think too highly of them. In fact, they would prefer it if people didn't think about them at all. We find, and I love this fact, a precise modern equivalent in the life of Léonie Martin, the only non-Carmelite sister of Thérèse of Lisieux, and least outstanding, perhaps, among the siblings. Having been rather troubled as a child, Léonie took a while to find her vocational path. She eventually joined the Visitation Sisters in Lisieux, where she thrived, and eventually died in the odour of sanctity. Léonie sometimes served as portress, receiving visitors and calls. Lisieux was a small place. The cult of Thérèse was flourishing. Pilgrims who knew that the saint's sister was a nun in a convent less strictly cloistered than Carmel sometimes came to catch a glimpse of her. One day, when Léonie was in the porter's lodge, a visiting priest turned up, asking to see the saint's blood sister. With perfect composure, Léonie replied, "We will ask our Mother Superior, but I do not think it will be possible." The priest answered, "Oh, that would be a great disappointment." To which Léonie replied, "However, Father, I can assure you, you wouldn't be missing anything. It isn't worth the trouble." This comment evidently shocked and scandalized the priest, who was astonished that the sister of such a well-known saint seemed to be taken so lightly. He made no reply, but left disconcerted. He then happened to meet the nun's chaplain, whom he told of his amazement. The chaplain burst out laughing and explained, "My poor father, you've been tricked. You were talking to Léonie herself." That was Léonie's equivalent of climbing a palm tree or chomping camembert before the convent gates. These days, when evangelization is tied up, often for good, with self-advertising in pursuit of numerous audiences, it is good to bear the example of these hardy souls in mind, to make sure we, like them, ultimately point away from ourselves towards Him who alone can satisfy searching hearts and minds.
A government official heard about Abba Moses and went off to Scetis to see him. Some people announced to the elder what was happening. He got up and fled into the marshes. The official ran into him there and said, "Tell us, old man, where is the cell of Abba Moses?" He said to them, "What do you want from him? He is a simpleton and a heretic." The official went to the church and said to the clergy, "Having heard a lot about Abba Moses, I came to see him. Then we encountered an elder who was on his way to Egypt, and we said to him, 'Where is the cell of Abba Moses?' And he told us, 'What do you want from him? He is a simpleton and a heretic.'" Hearing this, the clergy were saddened. They said to the official, "What sort of fellow was it that spoke in this way about the holy man?" The visitors answered, "He was a big, black man wearing ancient clothes." The clergy said, "That was Abba Moses. He said these things about himself because he did not want to meet you." Then the official retired, greatly edified. May we, like Moses, Simon, and Léonie, stay grounded in our dependence, should those around us seek to raise us beyond ourselves into someone we are not. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. If you have been blessed by the podcast, please share it with a friend today. Desert Fathers is brought to you by Exodus 90, produced by EWTN, and written by Bishop Erik Varden. Men, for the past year, the Desert Fathers have modeled for us the life of uncommon freedom in Jesus Christ. This January, take up the example of the Fathers and embrace a life of prayer, asceticism, and fraternity. Leave behind the pharaohs and idols that keep you enslaved, and take up the journey to the Promised Land. Join me and tens of thousands of men from all around the world for the Exodus 90 Challenge. We start January 5th, 2026. Download the Exodus 90 app or visit exodus90.com to learn more. All holy fathers and mothers of the desert, pray for us.